Hi everyone, this is Sheila Shaffie and welcome back to another episode by ProcessArc. Excuse the red cheeks today. I went on a bit of a longer than expected bike ride and I don't think my cheeks want to calm down anytime soon. But let's get back to today's topic, which is going to be all about important client experience metrics. And this was a question that came up last week when I published a video around process mapping and the importance of the elements to consider in process mapping. And someone asked a very poignant question, which is when you're thinking about transformation, client experience initiatives, even when you're thinking about purchasing a new software to get implemented within your corporation, what are some important client experience metrics to consider? So if you like this topic and you want to hear more about similar topics around transformation, creative problem solving, and innovation, please don't forget to subscribe. Let's get back to the main topic. So if we go to the highest level possible around what is really client experience all about, you'll remember from earlier videos that we discussed that CX is all about delivering a sense of advocacy for your customers, giving them a sense that you are there for them and that you ultimately have their best interest. Now, when you take advocacy, you can break it down into three other components. And those components are empowerment, simplicity, and trust or transparency. And when it comes to metrics, we have to ensure that all of our metrics, whether it's financial, operational, or whatever they may be, there is complete alignment between advocacy and everything else that falls below it. So you may know some of these metrics already. So we like to think of the Net Promoter Score as probably the best indicator, the best metric for gauging advocacy or your corporation's level of advocacy. And Net Promoter Score simply is the customer's desire to promote your products, services, or company to a friend or a peer. So Net Promoter Score is really well aligned with advocacy. Now, if we go down to empowerment, the best metric that could gauge whether or not a customer feels that they have a choice around how they want to interface with you, how they can make decisions about products and services that they want to pick, and it's best aligned to their needs and expectation. Customer satisfaction score is a pretty good indicator of empowerment. And customer satisfaction score essentially is a metric that gauges the level of satisfaction, happiness, that a customer drives from having recently used your product or services or having even interfaced with you in some capacity. Let's go now to the next metric that is an indicator of advocacy, and that's simplicity. And by the way, guys, let's just put an asterisk on simplicity. The whole notion of making things effortless for customers is beginning to show in industry research as being probably the most important driver of client experience. There are entire industries that essentially deliver value to the customer by making their life simpler, by making things feel effortless. Companies like Amazon, Uber, Netflix, Google, these are organizations that essentially their core value, if you really think about it, is around delivering services and products in the least amount of effort. So simplicity is important. It's very critical to ensuring client experience. And a great metric to measure the simplicity of the products and services that you offer, and again, what it feels like to do business with you, is the customer effort score. And that's simply a metric around determining how much effort is needed to purchase a product, to complete a service or a transaction with your company. Now, let's go to the last pillar, which is around trust and transparency. And the best metric for that happens to be the lifetime value of a customer. Because if your organization trusts you, if there's transparency, chances are that they will continue to do more and more business with you and help you generate more and more money within your organization. So those are at a very high level the best metrics that align themselves with advocacy, empowerment, simplicity, and trust or transparency. And again, advocacy, you've got Net Promoter Score. With empowerment, you've got customer satisfaction. With simplicity, you've got the customer effort score. And with trust and transparency, we have the customer lifetime value. Now, there are many other metrics that you can have underneath each one of those, metrics that are actionable, that will allow you to pinpoint areas for improvement. Because if you think about it, the Net Promoter Score is just going to tell you whether someone is willing to refer you to their peers or not. It's not going to tell you why that is. It's not going to pinpoint the part of the process, the service, the feature, whatever it was about your business that gave them that feeling that yes, they were absolutely delighted with how things went when it came to interfacing with your company. The same thing goes with the customer satisfaction score or the customer effort score. Whether you score high or low on those, it's very difficult to know why that was the case or not. So having lower level metrics also becomes important. And here are just a set of initial suggestions that you can consider underneath each one of those major pillars of advocacy that you may already be measuring today, and if not, you could easily start measuring quickly. So under the world of empowerment, you've got metrics like percent conversion and percent retention. Because if people feel like they can do things on their own, if they can initiate a transaction and complete the transaction seamlessly, guess what? They're more likely to complete that initial request that they have may put on there. They may have completed that application online to open up a new account with you. Same thing goes with percent retention. If it feels difficult to do business with you, if they don't feel that all the channels that they need, all the products or features or services that they need is available to them, they're most likely going to switch over to another service provider, particularly if the switching costs are low. Now, if we go to the next pillar around simplicity, you can measure things like cycle time. You can measure the amount of time it takes to sit and wait in order for a question to get answered in a call center, the amount of time it takes to get an issue resolved correctly the first time. And under transparency and trust, we talked about the fact that the key indicator there is customer lifetime value. So metrics like tenure, how long they've been with you, number of products and services that they are using, that you are offering to them, the amount of business that has grown for that particular customer over time is another great indicator. The adoption rate of new products and services that you're offering. All these are great indicators of whether or not the customer actually will continue to increase their value over time. So that again is just, think of it as an introductory set of fundamental metrics when it comes to client experience. What I would love to hear from you are things that you are measuring currently in your business that you think are incredibly important to how you are gauging the client experience within your organization. If you have any questions or comments around exactly how you should be measuring the metrics we talked about today, the mathematical calculation around them, please make sure that you leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I thank you again for joining me today as we discuss the importance of some of these metrics around client experience, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.